Good morning, Tahmina Khan is here in TKMaths is fun. In today's video, we will solve a question on functions, which is a part of the syllabus of A-level mathematics, P1. The code is 9709. In this question, the challenge part is 3 and especially 4, which is mostly a big challenge for a student. So I'll try to explain you in detail so that you can solve other questions of this type on your own. So let's start. The first part of the question is about to express a quadratic expression into the completing square form. So let's do it here. The technique is you take the coefficient of x power 1, which is 4 here, half it mean divided by 2, square it, and the same term you subtract also. If you add and subtract the same term in the expression, it doesn't change the question, right? The balance of the equation remains the same. So now the first three parts or terms change into the completing square form, which is x minus 2 whole square. And what does this follow actually? If you remember the algebraic identity a minus b whole square, it was a square minus 2ab plus b square. So these three terms transform into this form. Same is the case here. So this x value comes from here. Here it is 2 square, so 2 comes here and this sign is taken down, right? So now from the remaining two terms which are here, it will be minus 2 square is 4 plus 7. So finally I got x minus 2 whole square plus 3. So this is the completing square form. Achha, by the way, here I will tell you one thing. If you find this addition and subtraction little difficult, what is the other way to do it very quickly? The other way is you just put a bracket, right? This x square, ensure it is with coefficient 1. Otherwise, you have to make it 1 by factorizing it. So x will come here. This minus sign will come here. In your mind, divide the number which is here by 2. In this case, it is 2. So just write it here. And this number which you have divided by 2, subtract here, and this is all. You will get it. But the logic behind it is exactly what I have explained to you here, right? Now the second part of the question is, for x less than k is some value which we don't know, but for that particular value of k, the function is decreasing for that largest value of k. Now let's see here, what does it mean? When function is given to you in the completing square form, here it is, right? What do we get immediately from here? The turning point, right? 2, 3 is the turning point of the graph, and it is a quadratic curve. So the shape of the curve is like this, which is called parabola. So 2 and 3 is this point. Now we all know from the coordinate geometry the concept that if gradient is like this, it is positive. If gradient is like this, it is negative. And gradient means rate of change, dy over dx, right? And if it is horizontal, it is 0. If it is vertical, it is undefined. We all know this information. So question is, what is the value of x, largest value of x, for which the function has decreasing function? So here is the graph, you can see here. This left hand side part of the curve, this one, right, till here. If you see, this is a decreasing function because the gradient is negative at this part. So negative gradient means the function is decreasing. What are the values of x here? Yes, you are absolutely right. All the values of x which are less than 2 are basically giving us decreasing function. So for part 2, you can say the largest value, because this was a question, you can say the largest value of k is 2, which is the x coordinate of the turning point, right? Let me delete it from here. So the decreasing function is basically this part of the curve, and the largest value of x on this part is the x coordinate of the turning point. Let's see the third part of the question. Now once you know the function is in this form, x minus 2 whole square plus 3 completing square form, you have to express inverse function. Now very important thing, whenever the quadratic function is given to you and you have to find out the inverse function of it, always change it into completing square form. Either it is given in the part as a part of the question or not, but if they ask you find the inverse function, you must have to change the quadratic function into completing square form. Only then you can make x a subject. So let's just start here. So what did we get here? F of x is equals to x minus 2 whole square plus 3. Right? And when we find out the expression, I will come to this part little later. What do? We put the function equals to y and try to make x a subject and then replace x by y, y by x. These are the 3 steps we all follow. So then I will put square root, and then after that I will make x a subject. I will take 2 to this side, so it will become x is equals to 2 plus minus y minus 3. Then we will replace x by y and y by x. We know this thing, we have done in O level also, this concept. But the point here is either I will take plus sign or minus sign. This I have to decide. And how will I decide that? Because this will give me the values of y for inverse function. Because what I'm getting from here, I'm actually getting from here inverse function. I will write down the sign, just give me a second. Problem is which sign I will take. The very, I will say shortcut for everyone to remember if they cannot understand logic, you'll just look at the sign of the domain given to you for the inverse function. It is less, so negative sign will come. But I will explain you logic also. We know that domain, if this is a function, right? This is x is domain and y is range. For the inverse function, this y becomes your domain and this x becomes your range because it inverses. So if it is f of x equals to y, then in inverse function it is like this. Whatever your range is coming, that will become the domain and it will give you the output as a range, which is the domain of this. So I hope you understood that if 2 and 3 are my domain and range of function, then for the inverse function it will be 3 comma 2. This is what do I mean. They are reflection in the line y equals to x. But at the moment question is saying if your k value is 1 now. Now what is my k value? Here, which we got here in the earlier case 2. But if my k value is 1, let me see here, x is less than 1, right? Taking this part. Then what is the domain of f of inverse? This is the question. So now if I see here, for example, this is the roughly I'm trying to explain to you, but I will put f of value of x in the function. So let me substitute here in this function. Okay. So if my function is f of 1, I'm taking it from here. So 1 minus 2 whole square plus 3 is equals to minus 1 square plus 3 equals to 4. So what did I get from here? If for the function your domain is less than 1, then your range is greater than 4, right? Because now the part of the curve which is following values of x less than 1 is this. So all the values of y on this part of the curve are greater than 4, right? Agreed? So for the function, if x is less than 1, then y is greater than 4. So now for this part of the curve which is saying, state the domain of f of inverse. So what it will be now? Simple inverse of it, right? The range was coming f of x greater than 4. It means for the inverse function, this symbol, for the inverse function, the domain is greater than 4 because the range of f of x will be the domain of f inverse x, right? Simple question. Now the last part of the question. The function g is defined by this. Find an expression for g of f of x. Now we will find out this inverse function. Now I will speak slowly so that you can understand it. This is the typical part. So let me get the function f. What was it? X minus 2 plus 3. Okay. So now my function f of x is x minus 2 whole square plus 3. And we have seen for this function, when we are taking x less than 1, reason is it was given in the information. Let me show you again here in the main question. Here, if you see, we are talking about part 4 here. So it is following this part. The value of k is now given to be 1. Okay. Okay. So now we have seen that the range in this case is greater than 4. When you have to find out the expression of g of f of x, this is your inner function and this is your outer function. Or it is also called f of x the first function, g of x the second function. So what happened in that case? You substitute the inner function into the outer function. So g of f of x will be what? 2 divided by, this whole value will go here in place of x in function g. X minus 2 whole square plus 3 minus 1, which is equals to 2 divided by x minus 2 whole square plus 2. So first part of the question I have completed, which is saying express g of f of x. I have expressed it. Now you have to state the range of g of f of x. Now this part, we know that in g of f of x, whatever is the range of f, whatever is the range of f, which is this, will become the domain of g. I'm repeating, the range of f, the range of function f will become the domain of g. But the original domain is also given to us. Is it satisfying? It is 100% satisfying, because g said the domain is x greater than 4, and f of x is saying here greater than 4, greater than 1 and greater than 4. So greater than 4 falls within this, 100% it falls within it. So now we will follow this value. So if you see x greater than 4 for function g, because I am substituting the value of range of f in g, and g is given to me 2 over x minus 1. So I am substituting x is equals to 4, x equals to 5, just to show you here. When I put x equals to 4 in it, it is 2 divided by 4 minus 1, which is 2 upon 3. Now substitute 4, because you have to take values greater than 4. So now if you substitute 5, 2 upon 4. Substitute 6. What is happening? What did you notice? You notice that denominator is increasing and values are moving towards 0. They will never touch 0, but they are moving towards 0. And they started from where? 2 of 3. So that's why I can say the range of f of x is greater than 0 and less than 2 upon 3. Right? They all are less than 2 upon 3 and they all are greater than 0. So this is how you will find out the range of composite function g of f of x. I hope you understood. I will put in this video